Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Gopi Chanavallabha Girivaradari Jaya Gopi Jaya Gopi Chanavallabha Girivaradari Jaya Gopi Chanavallabha Jaya Gopi Chanavallabha Girivaradari Jaya Gopi Chanavallabha Yashodanandana Brajajanarandana Yashodanandana Yashodanandana Brajajanarandana Yashodanandana Yashodanandana Brajajanarandana Yashodanandana Yamunatiravanachari 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 Yamunatira Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Jaya Kishore Kishore, Jaya Kishore Kishore, Kishore Kishore, Jaya Kishore Kishore, Jaya Jaya Jagannath, Jagannath, Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jaya Gauranita, 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 Jaya Gauranita, Jaya Gauranita, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. गौर प्रेमानंदे हरे हरि बोल, श्री नाम संकीर्तन की जय, श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, गौर भक्तवृंद की जय, गौर प्रेमानंदे हरे हरि बोल। हरे कृष्ण। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10th, Chapter 58, Slok 28. Right? Yeah. Please repeat the word to word translation, then we'll go to Sloka. Saha, he, Lord Krishna, Tena, by him, Arjuna, Samanujataha, given he live, given live, Suhrita Srudabhi, by his well wishers, Cha, and Anumoditaha, allowed, 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 Ayayu, he went, Dwarkam, to Dwarka, Bhuyah, big again, Satyaki Pramukaha, by those headed by Satyaki, Vrataha, accompanied, सतेन समायुताः सुरभि चानुमोदिताः अयायुद्वारकं भूयाः सत्यकी प्रमुखैर्वृताः सतेन समानुजाताय सुहृदि चानुमोदिताः अयायुद्वारकं भूयाः सत्यकी प्रमुखैर्वृताः सतेन समयोजताय सुहृद्विजचानुमोदिताः अयायुद्वारकं भूयाः सत्यकी प्रमुखैर्वृताः. Kindly repeat. सतेन समायुताः सुरभिचानुमोदिताः अयायुद्वारकं भूया सत्यकी प्रमुखैर्वृताः सतेन समानुजताः सुहृद्विजचानुमोदिताः अयायुद्वारकं भूयाः सत्यकी प्रमुखैर्वृताः सतेन समानुजताः सुहृद्विजचानुमोदिताः अयायुद्वारकं भूयाः सत्यकी प्रमुखैर्वृताः. Can you repeat? सत्येन समानुजताः श्रुतुविज्चानुमोदिताः अयायुद्वारकं भूयाः सत्यकी प्रमुखैर्वृताः सतेन समानुजताः सुहृद्विजचानुमोदिताः अयायुद्वारकं भूयाः सत्यकी प्रमुखैर्वृताः सतेन समानुज्ञात सुहृद्विजचानुमोदिताः अयायुद्वारकं भूयाः सत्यकी प्रमुखैर्वृताः. Translation by John Geshe Shri Prabhupada. Then Lord Krishna, given leave by Arjuna and other well-wishing relatives and friends, returned to Dwarka with Satyaki and the rest of his entourage. I was told to read next verse also, so we'll read next verse and then we'll recite prayers. अथयोमेपि कालिन्दी सुपूर्णेर्तुक्ष वितन्वन् परमानन्दं स्वानं परमङ्गलम्. The supremely auspicious Lord then married Kalindi on a day when the season, the lunar asterism and the configurations of the sun and other heavenly bodies were all propitious. In this way, he brought the greatest pleasure to his devotees. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्. वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवाञ्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितां च. हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी श्रीराधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण. So I welcome you in our Saturday discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 58, Slok 28 and 29. So this chapter, we have to understand how Lord is trying to show how he is with his devotees always in any situation, whether it is good or bad, how Lord is always with his devotees. So now to understand, we'll go through a little bit the background of this chapter and then we'll discuss on the current shloka. So mm, this chapter describes how Lord married to the different five brides, beginning with Kalindi and went to the Indraprastha to visit Pandavas. After the Pandavas has completed their incognito exile, Lord Krishna went to Satyaki and other Yadus to see them in Indraprastha. The Pandavas were greeted the Lord and embraced him in a great ecstasy. Their new bride Draupadi shyly approached Krishna and bowed down to him. Then Pandavas properly worshipped and welcomed Satyaki and the Lord other companion, offering them sitting places. So here Lord went to Indraprastha to see Pandavas after they complete their exile. Um Lord is going to see them with his uh, special commanders like Satyaki and other Yadus to see that how is Pandava doing, how they are feeling after their exile, how is their mental state, and Lord want to pacify them. And Pandavas are such a special devotees that in entire Bhagavatam, if you see the Lord's different pastimes, the maximum time Lord have spent with Pandavas. And to get the glimpse of the Lord's little bit, yogis do so much tapasya and all. So we can understand the position, how much the Pandavas are close to the Lord and how much they are loved by the Lord. Even the Draupadi is so dear to Lord that Lord is going beyond his limit to help Draupadi. And Draupadi has very significant in his in her own life. How Draupadi is born, that is also again special case. Like there are two friends, Drona and Drupad. Drona was not that time Acharya, so he's called Dron, and there is Drupad. So these two personalities, they were studying in the Gurukul together, and they were very thick friends. So as they were thick friends, they were ready to do anything for everyone, and so thickly attached that just like we see nowadays materialistic friendship, also they are ready to do anything for the friend. Like that way they were. And that time, Drona and Drupad, they were always discussing that how they're going to lead future life. And Drupad says, I'll be the king. Anytime you need anything, you please come to me and I'll supply you. And anytime you need any help, you come to me. Drona is to say that any sacrifice you have to do, I'll be Brahmana, so I'll be helping you. Like that. And Drona was not only like a Brahmana, but he was also Kshatriya. So he was expert in all these martial arts and different fighting weapons and everything. So there was there son of Drona. He was his name is Ashwathama. So Ashwathama, one day he said his friends were discussing something about milk, and what is that milk? And he don't know. From his childhood they were so pure and so simple living that he never had a milk. So that time, Drona's wife, Krupi. She requests that your friend is such a nice king. Can you go and ask him one cow so that we can feed our son? It is not for us. The Brahmanas are very austere and they don't want anything for themselves, but they feel that it will be great if their son get milk. So Drona immediately say, yes, it's a great opportunity for me to meet my friend, and my friend also told me that anytime he needs anything, he will going to supply me. So Drona, he goes to the kingdom of Drupad, and as he goes to the kingdom of Drupad, there he has to go big tussles to meet the king, because to meet the king is not very easy. So he, with all different filters, he goes and finally he meets Drupad. And when Drupad is sitting on the big throne and he sees Drona, and that time Drona being like a friendly trying to approach Drupad, but Drupad said that was a childish commitment that I don't adhere to. Now I am a king, but whatever you need, I can supply it. So I'm not anymore your friend. And Drona didn't go just for asking the cow, but he wanted to meet him, his friend. So he felt very much insulted that among the assembly, how he can treat me like this, and he kept this in his heart. So anything we keep in heart, right? Always it bring consequences. So that's how we should never keep things in heart. Always try to forgive others. But here Drona doesn't forgive. He just take the things with his heart and he come back. And now he plots a plan. How is the plan that how I'm going to like take the revenge of this activity? So he, being an expert in different military skills, he goes to um, s- he makes a plan where he makes some activity where when all the Kurus and Pandavas they were playing, their ball fall in the well and they don't know how to take it out. So what he does is he takes one ring, he puts the ring around the ball and he shots the arrow, and each with arrows he pulls out the ball. And as soon as this news goes to the Kuru's king, and everybody knows that in entire Kuru's kingdom there is only one expert personality who is able to teach all the Pandavas and Kauravas is Bhishma Pitama, who is very expert in his all military skills. But Bhishma, he is busy with all the kingdom, kingly affairs to maintain the kingdom and everything. So he didn't have time to specifically dedicate for teaching these kids. But when Bhishma saw that this is a personality who is so expert in this skill, he's the best person to train our children. So then finally he was called, and then he agreed on training Kurus and Pandavas, and he started training them. And Dronacharya was very expert. He trained all the Kurus and Pandavas expertly. And as a part of their curriculum, the last part is the student is supposed to give in return Guru Dakshina, the return homage to the Guru. So Dronacharya at that time he asked that you have to capture Drupad for me. You have to go to the kingdom of Drupad and fight and get the kingdom for me. Fight and get the Drupad for me. So immediately Duryodhana, being very arrogant and very proud of his own knowledge and skills, he said, "We will go, Guru. I'll get for you." And he and all his 100 brothers, they goes to kingdom of Drupad. And Drupada was not an ordinary Kshatriya. He was very powerful. And immediately he defeats all the Kurus, and they just run away and they come to again Drona and say, sorry, he's too powerful for us to handle. We cannot do anything. Then all the Pandavas, they goes. And that time um, Arjuna personally challenged Drupada, and there was tremendous fight. And in that fight, every whatever arrows Drupada was shooting, every arrow was defeated by Arjuna, and finally all the armies is defeated by Pandavas, and uh, Arjuna personally captures Drupada, and he brings at the feet of Dronacharya. And as soon as Drupada comes to the feet of Dronacharya, that time Drona keeps his feet on the head of Drupad, and it was something insulting for a king. It is insult is more than death, that kind of. And that time again, here initially Drona had a revengeful attitude, against Drupada. Now Drupada had a revengeful attitude towards Drona because of his activity. So what he does is he calls the sages and he says, perform one sacrifice where I can get a son who can kill Drona. That kind of benediction. For that he want to do some sacrifice, and he calls Brahmanas, and they perform this sacrifice. So in this sacrifice, as they were performing sacrifice, and the sacrifice fruit should come, and that should be eaten by the queen. But the queen that time she was taking a bath, and as she was taking the bath, the priest said, "We cannot wait for the auspicious moment to go." Immediately, they takes earth, and with the earth as a mother, they offer that offering to that in the sacrificial fire, and immediately from the sacrificial fire itself, Drupad gives the birth to Drishtadumna, who is the son of Drupad, who will going to kill Drona. And at the same time, not only Drupad is born, along with born, there is another girl born. Very beautiful, very attractive girl is born, and that is Draupadi, and she is a great devotee of Lord. So this is a story. And when this battle was happening between Drupad and Dronacharya, that time Drupad was very much impressed by Arjuna, and he had always desired that I'll be very happy if my daughter marries to Arjuna because he is very powerful Kshatriya. Sometime in the uh, interaction with anybody, if some expert comes in interaction with us, we should appreciate it. We should not envy the person who is expert in, when dealing with anybody. If we are envy, then it's not good for our own self. We have to appreciate the person's good quality, so that anytime we appreciate anybody's good quality, automatically the fraction of the good quality come to us. But anytime we see any bad about anybody or we keep jealousy, then we don't get any benefit out of that expert person. So here Drupad was very much appreciative about Arjuna, that it will be nice if he become my son-in-law in future. So what he does, while this marriage is arranged for Draupadi, he keeps very Herculean tasks, that he keeps one fish, moving fish, and below there is a floating oil. In that oil, one has to look and then showed the arrow of the fish m- which is moving. So it's not easy. Not every Kshatriya can do that kind of activity. So he keep that challenge for all the Kshatriyas. And when this ceremony happens, different Kshatriyas from different part of the world came to marry Mother Draupadi, but none of them able to success. But when the turn came for the Karna was one of the powerful who could do it, and Drupada also knows this. But immediately he says that no, my daughter is not going to marry anybody who is not a Kshatriya, because that time Karna was called as a Sutaputra. Nobody knows the history of the Karna, so he was Sutaputra. So it is considered lower. Anytime the marriage, it can happen that the higher order boy can marry to the lower order girl, but it's not other way around, that higher order girl will marry to lower order boy. It is a consider against the principle. So that's how Drupada refused, and everybody agreed that it's not like Draupadi can marry to Karna. And finally, Arjuna comes, and Arjuna, disguised in a different form, he uh, penetrate the arrow of the fish, and he wins Mother Draupadi. So this is the story behind how this Draupadi is now owned by Pandavas, and anytime all the Pandavas, anything they go out and they beg, they will bring and they will tell mother, I have got something for you, and mother will immediately say, Mother Kunti will immediately say, distribute among all of you. Uh, I don't want anything like that. She has that common, typical motherly nature that always any son is getting anything. That time when um, Arjuna said, Mother, I bought something very special for you. Immediately Kunti said, distribute among all of you. And Arjuna was shocked, and everybody was shocked. They don't know what to do. But being any just lady said any statement, it makes such a powerful impact in this Vedic society that it has to be become true. So when this situation happened, immediately Arjuna goes to Mother Kunti and Yudhishthir and everybody. They discuss what to do now. Mother said like this. Then finally they don't know what to do. They call her Krishna, and Krishna says, "Yes, this was the desire of Draupadi to get such a husband who is expert in all these five qualities which all of you Pandava has." So that's how it is a plan of the Lord, and you can go ahead with this, and Draupadi can marry all the five brothers. So as this happened, so this is the situation now where we are discussing about um, this sloka that all the Pandavas and Mother Draupadi and Kunti all are together, and Krishna is visiting them and discussing about all these pastimes. So here, Lord stayed with Pandavas several months, several days. He stayed with them in this visit to Indraprastha. So when Pandavas came back from the exile, they went to Lord. They went to mm, Dhritarashtra and asked him. So they gave very bad places to Pandavas for ruling. So among them is one of the Khandaprastha. Khandaprastha is like a forest, which there is nothing, just like um, desert. And this how this Khandaprastha become a desert. There is another story behind this. One time, Agni, the god Agni, he was fed too much of the ghee, and as he was fed too much ghee, he got indigestion in his stomach. So he wanted to get cure. So Lord allowed him to burn this Khandaprastha forest. So as he burned the Kandaprastha forest, there Arjuna protected Maya demon. There is a demon who he protected by Arjuna. So this Maya demon was very grateful to Arjuna, and he said, anytime in future if you need any help, please approach me. As you spared my life, I will definitely help you. And during this forest burning, right, um, there is a Takshak snake. His family also got burnt. So his wife and Takshak, they were very angry at Arjuna. And this Takshak wife was always looking for the revenge towards Arjuna. So during the battlefield of Kurukshetra, this wife of Takshak, she sat on the arrow of Karna on, and that she was trying to kill Arjuna. But Krishna immediately told, kill her. She's very poisonous. But still, Takshaka has always envious about the Pandavas, and finally, Takshaka comes and he kills Parikshit Maharaj, who is the grandson of Pandavas, because he has always envious towards Pandavas and their family. So we see that the revenge mentality is always something which always hurts everybody. We should never hold revenge for anybody, because we don't know what is our life, what is the purpose of life. It is like if anytime we have revenge about anybody, right, we forget the goal of life. And we have always meditated on this act, we get distracted in all our activity or goal of life. And it is like a something, we are asked to run, and we are given one big dumbbell or something in our hand, and we are asked to run. Then will we will run faster? No, we will not able to run, because we are holding that weight in us. Similarly, if any progressing sadhaka, any practicing devotee who want to progress spiritually, he should not hold any revenge. It is like they are the shackles for ones to progress. So one should try to give up this bad quality, and anytime anything comes, accept as a plan of the Lord. Always try to cooperate with others, and specifically discuss. The problem happens a lot of time is because we don't consult our superiors, we don't consult with the devotees of the Lord, who are well situated in spiritual life, who are in position to help others. So this revengeful mentality we saw, first revenge happened between um, Drona and Drupad. Drona are revengeful, then Drupad was revengeful to Drona. So it is like chaining reaction; it never ends. So somewhere it has to be stopped, and anybody who stops is he has made sufficient progress in his spiritual life. Then only he can able to stop it. So um, this revengeful activity mentality is not at all good for progress in sadhaka. It has to completely given up if one want to make good progress in spiritual life. So uh, this Khandavaprastha forest was given to Pandavas as a part of their ruling kingdom. So what Lord, all the Pandavas said, "Oh Lord, what we are supposed to do here? We don't know." The Lord says, "Wait, I will help you." So Lord calls Vishwakarma, who is the architect of the demigods. And as Lord calls him, Vishwakarma says, "This area, demon is very very familiar with this area, and in this area." there are so many treasure also. So Maya demon can help us to find out the treasure as well as how we can build a city nicely. And so this Vishwakarma, he invites Maya demon, and Maya demon comes, and Maya demon was very much appreciative about Arjuna. Already he saved his life. So Maya demon, he creates very nice mansion for all the Pandavas, and he built the entire city for Pandavas, and the city was so nice and so nicely made. It was so splendid that anywhere you see water, it was like earth, but anytime you see earth, it was like a water. That kind of some magical building is construction is done for the Pandavas. So that uh, one time Duryodhana is trying to visit Pandavas to for the Rajaswi Yagya, and he was walking on this place, and he saw that there is a water, and he was trying to walk, and he just could able to easily walk it. And there is another place where he saw nice tiles, and he fell into the water. So everybody started laughing uh, towards Duryodhana, and Duryodhana was very angry about it. And especially when Draupadi laughed, he was more angry. And the comments are passed by Draupadi also hurt him. So like that way, there is again revenge happen between Duryodhana and Draupadi. So this revenge is always, which is what creating problem across the world. So we should try to avoid this revengeful mentality. So Maya demon creates this nice, beautiful place for Pandavas, and then gradually Pandavas started living there. They, and Lord also resides there personally and help and guide the Pandavas. So in this pastime, we can see that Lord is trying to make his devotee compatible and facilitate his best of the capacity. But Lord never does everything for devotee. Lord did not fight for Arjuna. Lord asked Arjuna to fight. Lord is Lord becomes guider for the devotees. Lord supports us. Lord makes us. Lord doesn't make us lazy. So Krishna conscious is not for lazy people. Krishna conscious people are hardworking people. That's how in battlefield Lord guided Arjuna, but Arjuna has to fight. That's how Prabhupada is to say we should never be lazy in this Krishna consciousness. We should be very active. Everyone who want to make progress in spiritual life has to work hard. There is no place for lazy people in Krishna consciousness. Because if one is lazy, one will not grow. One will not put effort to attend morning program. One will not put effort to read Prabhupada books. One will not do service. And everything is interdependent. One cannot take things isolatedly. There is a service, there is sadhana, there is one's physical care also needed. So when the balance is there, then one grows faster. Otherwise, if somebody does only sadhana, and he doesn't do service, he become too proud. If somebody does too much service, the service becomes just like a labor. It doesn't have that consciousness to do that service. And if one is just doing service, he neglects his health goes down. One point at a time person will do lot of service, one point at a time zero service. So there is no proper channel. So the service, sadhana, and one's health, the balance should be there between these three. Then person can serve lifelong. So the balance is very much emphasized. And how one can strike the balance is by consulting with superiors or mentors, authorities, uh, being transparent. What is our life, how we are going through, what is our schedule, everything, whatever service we can do. So when one has that mentality, one will be helped. And Lord also empowers the person to do service. So anybody who want to serve lifelong, definitely the balance of the spiritual life is very much required. And it is always that Kali Yuga is such a place where it is very difficult to strike the balance. We'll be always dragged in either or this direction, but we have to try to come back again and try to balance our life so that we'll be enthusiastically continuous service lifelong, and we can inspire others. The greatest service Prabhupada is to say that if one want to do is to be exemplary in one's own spiritual life. Just that doing that example itself is such a great service that will keep faith of so many others who are following us. There are so many outsiders who are looking us. So if we are just consistent in our doing service, we ourselves will be nourished. We ourselves will be feel joyful in our spiritual life. And when we inspire others, automatically Paramatma seated within our heart also will become very much pleased. And every time, if we are not able to do service to others, at least try to make sure that we are not doing any disservice or setting a bad example in the society. So every our activity, devotee become representation of Krishna. So we are representing Krishna. How much we should be responsible in all our activities. We should be very careful while dealing with anybody. It doesn't matter, it might be in devotee circle or outside, how much one should be in, what my act is going to bring to the moment. Prabhupada had put so much effort to build this moment. So how much we should care and value this Krishna consciousness and present them very nicely. So every activity of devotee has to be based on scriptures. Then only one will be able to grow spiritually and set a nice example for our community and inspire others to take Krishna consciousness. So here, in this pastime, when Lord Krishna spent time with all the Pandavas were very exemplary. As soon as the Lord came to the assembly, immediately uh, but, uh, the elder brother of Pandavas, Yudhishthir Maharaj got up from the throne. It is said the king is the representative of God, but when God personally comes, king is supposed to get up. So Yudhishthir Maharaj was, got up from his throne and he gave special asan equivalent to his own sitting place. That kind of respect he shown to Lord, and Lord become very much pleased. And Lord loves Pandavas like anything. Lord spent time with his Kunti, and he was very much guiding Pandavas and all the aspects. So we see in all the pastimes with the Lord, Pandavas is put into multiple difficulties. But the difference between devotees and non-devotees, if they are in difficulties, Lord is always there in their duty to support them in their spiritual lives and in all the material life also. So one has to do one's duty perfectly and depend on the Lord. So after spending time with Pandavas, took a leave and Lord went with Arjuna. And while they were going, Arjuna one point of time he just went to river Yamuna, and there he saw one lady doing tapasya, and the lady's name is Kalindi. And then she was very nice, beautiful, and very much doing tapasya. So Arjuna felt very much affectionate towards her. That who is this lady, and he wanted to know. And then he inquired about her, and then she told, I am aspiring as a supreme personality of Godhead as my husband, and I'm ready to entire life remain in water just to accept approach the Lord. So he was doing tapasya, and when Arjuna heard about her, immediately Arjuna, when he met Lord, Arjuna told Lord, "Oh Lord, there is a lady called Kalindi. Kalindi is the one who is the daughter of Surya, King Surya, and then what is the name of Sandana something. Yes, thank you. Very nice. Thank you for adding. So, Kalindi was a daughter of Surya and Sanjana. So she was also very powerful. And when Lord heard about her from Arjuna, Lord immediately agreed. And here in this sloka, if we see, Lord accepts her and Lord marries her in this particular shloka. So this is the background where I wanted to give before discussing about this uh, two slokas, that Arjuna first takes and go and meet Kalindi, and then the next verse 29, the supremely auspicious Lord then married Kalindi on the day of when the season, the lunar rhythm, and the configurations of the sun and heavenly bodies were all auspicious. On the auspicious day, Lord married to Kalindi. In this way, he brought the greatest pleasure to his devotees. So we can see Lord does everything for pleasure of his devotees. We see on the purpose of the Lord is coming to Paritarana Sadhunam Vinashasya Dushkitam. That is the purpose, externally seen by everybody. But the main purpose of the Lord is to give pleasure to his devotees. He want to demonstrate how is the spiritual world, and to inspire others to take them along with him. So that is the main purpose of the Lord to come to this world. Hare Krishna. So with that note, I will pause here. If any comments, questions, anybody has. Hare Krishna.
Um, Thank you for the nice class. So I had a question when you said that we should be always be cordial to other people and always try to help in the best way. And whenever there are reactions coming from the material world, just try to absorb it and not react. But sometimes living when a person's energy is already very low and one is already suffering, the pressure keeps building like in a pressure cooker, it's like the pressure keeps building, and when one doesn't have any outlet, then one day it will just explode. And that is why I think many times, my personal opinion is, why crimes happen is because people have no outlet uh, to to tell other people that they are also human beings, they also are suffering, they also need an outlet, and they cannot just take in all the negativity and absorb it. So then the pressure cooker explodes and the person says he's a criminal.
Yeah, what Prabhupada said, even if the 5% of the population of the world, if they become devotees of the Lord, then there will be peace in entire society. But right now, not everyone is a devotee. So that's how we have particular laws in particular state and place. So the law has to be adhered, and who is sitting in that law position is representing Lord, and they are acting on their duty. But the context what I spoke for the absorption is in the devotee circle majorly, and outside also to the best of capacity what we can absorb. The let us say one has a capacity to lift 10 pound weight, another person has a capacity to lift 20 pound weight. Similarly, to absorb thing everyone has his individual capacity, and to the degree one is spiritually advanced he will have more capacity to absorb it. So the explosion what you are talking is the people who are not spiritually advanced, those are on the animalistic platform. Basically, if you see, animal can immediately respond to the activity because their level of consciousness is very low. So those who are built in their consciousness, they only can absorb. So you may ask very well question that how much to absorb and how much not to absorb, is that has to be consulted, and the situation to situation basis it will change. So we have to be compassionate. When we have devotee as a compassion, he goes distribute Prabhupada books, preach Krishna consciousness, give prasadam, so that lot of people will get elevated in their consciousness and they can absorb more and more. So the strength, spiritual strength has to be built. Like there was one devotee who was giving nice example. Like if the road is having lot of cracks or dugs and everything, you will feel when you are going with an ordinary car you will feel problems because the car's shock absorber are not very advanced, and you will feel the impact of the road because the road is not good. But if we are going with very posh Mercedes Benz or any BMW, very highly car which has very good shock ups, will not feel any problem on that road even the road is bad. Similarly, if anybody is spiritually advanced, then that person will not have at all impact of the outside world. He will be completely absorbed. Like I see here also some of the devotees, they are least bothered about anything whatever is happening outside of the world. Like sometimes some people they read some news and they get distracted and they feel very much upset. But some devotees they feel okay, what can we do? There is see, we should have intelligence enough to understand in certain situation where we can act and where we should not act. So that's how why the scriptures are there, to sharpen our intelligence, to see from the God's perspective the world and then act accordingly. So absorption means not everything we can absorb. Like somebody is going against the principle, definitely it has to be opposed. But in general, whatever things can be absorbed, that should be absorbed within specifically in the family circle. It can be our own family, it can be Krishna conscious family or society. We should try as much as we can try to support others. But the purpose of this absorption should be to bring them closer to Lord, not for any other thing, to allow their own nonsense. No, the purpose is to bring them to the close to the God, and once they can come close to the God, Lord seated within the heart will cleanse their all the dirts, and automatically they will also appreciate Krishna consciousness. So that's the purpose. Thank you, but very nice question. Yeah. Any more comments? Question?
through the course of the discussion, you'd raised a very significant point on the idea of revenge and how it continues, maybe even generation to generation. So the antidote to that was to not carry some wrongdoing in the heart you had mentioned. So it's an interesting point because in the end, actually, the wrongdoing on the part of somebody really is that person's action. It doesn't really have anything to do with oneself. Even if there's some impact, in the end, it's that person's action. So the idea of meditating on somebody else's action and making it almost one's own and interlocking it with one's own reaction to that action is not very intelligent in one way.
Thank you for all your contribution. Really encouraged me in my own spiritual life. Appreciate all of you. Hare Krishna. Shilpa Upadhi ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.